proud and happy about the young filmmakers, actors, singers, writers, producers that are coming up behind my generation. In particular, Gary Jenkins, young people understand this young man made a short film before he got back to make moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, then we know Kerry Washington. If it was easy, then we know Washington. If it were easy, then we know October. But not only that, if it were easy, then we know Viola Davis. If it were easy, then we know Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, then we know Denzel Washington. So, keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See how it works.
Welcome, 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 welcome. It is Friday, the 11th of May. 11th of May. It's going fast, man. 11th of May, 2018. Welcome to the show, No Covers Live, Straight Talk, No Chaser. I'm your host, Al Alameen, coming to you out of the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina. We're at the studios of WLTT 1180 AM. Welcome all my Facebook family coming in on live line. We're on 2 channels on Facebook. We're on the Facebook channel and the Gospel Joy channel as well. Friday, my Nicole, my brown party. All right, yeah, I like that, Nicole. Nicole is referencing my brown party, and yeah, it's coming soon. The brown party is coming soon. That's where we at. We're gonna do this brown party. I got you online. I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your support. It's Healthy Living Friday, you all. We call this Healthy Living Friday on the show. We talk about health. We talk about fitness. We talk about trying to get our body right. Hey, I gotta share something with you all before I go into today's show. There were 2 young gentlemen that had just been charged for murder in the city of Wilmington. I have to let you know, I did it on Facebook. If you got my post the other night, those are my students. They were mine. Those are my children. Those are my sons. I had a program at DC Virgo that got canceled about a couple of years ago, and they were part of a program I got called Young Kings. So every time that hits, so if you got my rampage the other day, don't get upset. Don't think I'm just cooking or going off. Whenever they fail, I feel pain, because those are my boys. Those are the guys that I was trying to groom away from violence. And because of a disagreement with the school system, a disagreement with the BRC, I was kicked out, bottom line. My program was kicked out, and Young Kings were kicked out of the school system. The school system is not designed to keep those kids from getting the games. We don't have programs in the school system for them to get out of games. And every time we come up with a good program, that program is eliminated from the school. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's just what it is. So every time we come up with a good program, it finds some kind of way to kill the messenger of the program and say, you know what, we don't like what he's teaching. What I was teaching was Black history. Anybody knows my program with Young Kings, those young men had to learn Black history to the core. That was the whole basis of the program. So it's disheartening to see them on the 6 o'clock news, but I'm not giving up. We still gonna keep working. I'm still gonna keep the campaigns going, what No Covers does. I'm on the airwaves now. Some of them feel like, well, you went to the airwaves because you couldn't come back in the school system. Well, most people don't know I was banned from the New Hampshire County school system from DC Virgo. That's just a fact. You can call Dr. Markle and ask him, did he ban me? He was my best friend and then banned me from the school. So that's just a simple fact. I keep facts and actual facts on this show. So that's what it is. It is what it is. Whenever you get power, you think about a black man that had 50 young black men under his control in the school system. That's power. Ain't with that kind of power. Bottom line. Okay, so let's go to what we Healthy Living Friday. So last week we talked about money. This week we're talking about travel. We're gonna keep your health going. See, that's part of health too. Wilmington is a poisonous city, y'all. I'm just gonna keep it real today. That city will drain you. It's a city that will, as for African Americans, Wilmington is the most draining city I have ever been in my life. It will drain the life out of you if you let it. We're a small population here. There is very few cultural events here that fits us. There is very few restaurants that have our critique of where we want to go. There's very little for us to do. So my suggestion to keep the stress down, what me and my wife have learned, is travel. Is get out of this city every opportunity you can. If you can take a weekend off to go, if you can't go no farther than Myrtle Beach, go to Myrtle Beach. Go to Georgia, go to Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia has some good restaurants down there. Go down to Savannah, Georgia, a couple hours away. Go wherever you can go just to get out the city to relax, find yourself some stress relief, to get out of the day-to-day mundane of being a minority in the city, and go to cities that have some life involved into. So today, man, I've been trying to get the sister on for a minute. Sister Inez is in the house. We go back a long way. She's going to talk to us about some travel things that she got going on today. And we just going to open the mics, 910-765-0097, 910-765-0097. I'm going to turn the mic over to her for a few minutes to let her tell you what she's doing, her background. I gotta throw this caveat in here. This the sister from the Wilmington on fire, So I gotta throw that in there every time I get a chance. This the sister whose ancestry go back to 1898. This ain't no lightweight sister I'm dealing with today. Bring your calls in because we're gonna talk about everything from going to Africa, but we're gonna also talk about community issues on the second half of this because this is a sister that ain't no lightweight. She know this city inside out, and she know the history of our people. And y'all know no covers is open mic. Y'all come with it. Bring you what you got. Sister Inez, on you. What you give us some little information on what you got going on, what's coming up, and give a background.
Thank you so much for having me, Brother Dawood. Again, my name is Inez Campbell-Eason. It's an anomaly, actually, today to find people that were actually born and raised in Wilmington. People look at me really strange when they say, you were actually born here? Yes. But we're here today to discuss travel. I actually ventured into network marketing as far as travel, the travel industry last year sometime. I went to school back in the 80s for it after graduate school and undergraduate school, and in my naivety, this was pre-internet. I actually traveled down to Florida. I went to school, not realizing when I came back to North Carolina and South Carolina, because I was a military spouse at the time, that those little mom and pop venues weren't really made for people who look like me. So I had all this knowledge of the travel industry, OAG guides, all these international codes, and couldn't utilize it, basically because I was African American. But a little bit of background about myself. I am an HBCU graduate from Elizabeth City State University. I was the former Miss Elizabeth City State University, 1983-84. After my children graduated from high school, went on to college. I pretty much tried to circumnavigate and go back to something that I had put on the back burner, which was finishing graduate school. So I went back to grad school as a working adult, and recently finished. I received the MA in educational psychology, and I have an EDS in school psychology. But with that being said, and for undergraduate, I majored in special education, K through 12. But with that being said, I've always had the mindset to be an entrepreneur. Um, I think that was just cut from the fabric,
Right.
based upon the whole thing with 1898. My great great grandfather was Ison Quick. He was on the board of directors for the black-owned bank called the Metropolitan Trust Company that was chartered in 1893 here in North Carolina, and was here in Wilmington. And we may discuss some of that later
Yeah.
on. But as far as the travel, people don't really realize that the travel industry brings in about over $4 trillion. It's an over $4 trillion industry, and about 52% of people in network marketing actually have college degrees. So I just was very intrigued with travel because that was something that I had put on the back burner. I have a trip coming up for Ghana, Accra, Ghana, in August. So for anyone who's interested in traveling to Ghana, it's a 9-day trip. August 15th through the 23rd, we'll be participating in the Ghana Chawote Festival. It's basically an arts festival. It's fairly new to the area. So we'll be going there and different regions we'll be visiting different regions in Ghana. The trip actually is $1,500, and that's for 9 days.
Now,
Can't beat that.
what I'm looking at is when we start talking about working with travel and travel agencies, because that's what you basically do, a travel agency. They've got so much online right now. What is the advantage? Because most people are like, I'm gonna do it myself.
Right.
But give us the advantage of working with an organization, working with yourself, especially when we're going international.
Okay, well, I'm with a company called Traverse Global. They've been around for probably about 20 years. They took over Paycation, which was another home-based travel agent, for independent contractors to work from home. So you can work part-time or full-time, keep your day job and still make some residual income. To be a certified agent, it's about $174. Everything is online. So the flexibility of you being able to leave your day job and do something that you really enjoy. I would advise anyone who ventures into any type of entrepreneurial pursuit or network marketing to only do things that you have a passion for. If someone has to convince you to do something, you aren't going to stick with it. But if it's something that you really enjoy, it doesn't feel like work. That motto, find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah. So that's always been my mantra with any profession that I've delved into. But working from home, it gives you that flexibility and amenability to control the outcome of your day. And there's just so many mediums when it comes to travel, because you have your global travel, you have your international travel and national travel. There's sports involved. I actually posted on Facebook the various tickets for all the games for the NFL. I have access to anything as far as professional sports, NBA, MLB, NHL, all the NCAA. These are things that you actually can acquire working in the travel industry. It takes about it's really up to you and the time that you have to dedicate yourself. There's about 5 to 7 modules that you actually go over.
Gotcha.
And there's a quiz at the end of each one. And once you pass, you get your certification and you have access to your IATA numbers and your IATA number and your CLIA number for cruise lines and air travel, which is only privy to those in the industry, and then you can pretty much complete the process online. You can pay for it online and do all your training online and we have a very strong supportive staff of people that's been in the industry for a long time. So anything that you don't know or that I don't know, I have a pretty good support
So
system.
this trip Ghana, what are the activities that a person can look forward to?
Okay. We actually will be go to my little PDF.
Because I'm really interested in Ghana.
Yeah, it's my first time, so I'm really excited.
I saw it late. If I saw it late next year, I'm really interested in the trip to Ghana. And I don't think our people understand going back. I've been to Africa once.
I think I get very emotional when I get there.
Yeah, I've been to Africa once, and it's something about touching the soil. Once you touch the soil, you really get to experience. I was young at the time, so I went to Africa when I was like 19 or 20. I was in the military. So I left home in 1918, and I went to Germany, and then we were able to take trips. Where I went to Turkey, and then I touched Africa, and I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't have the history I got now. It's like, oh man, I wish I had known what I know now and could have touched it then. So I'm really interested in one day going back with what I got under my belt now. Because I had about a couple years of African American history, but it wasn't what I had like 34 years later.
Right.
So I'm really interested in that trip. What will people experience going to Ghana?
Right. When they arrive to Ghana, we will actually participate in the Chawoti Festival, which is a huge outdoor arts festival that they have in Accra. Pretty much they paint on the street, they paint on the walls. It's just an explosion of art and dance. They will actually visit the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park in Ghana, the Osu Lighthouse. There's a W.E.B. Du Bois Center there. We'll be going to the beaches of Ghana and staying there for a couple of days. In the eastern region, we will tour the Aburi Botanical Gardens, the Bodie Waterfalls, the Umbrella Rock, Three-Headed Palm Tree, and then we will go to Kumasi. And in Kumasi, we will visit the National Cultural Center, the Manhaya Museum, the Kanjetia Market, which is where it's a market with only fabrics, and you can choose fabrics. It's like a big alley, big marketplace, and it's just like fabrics, and then you just choose the fabrics you like, and they will make on the spot your dashiki or whatever.
Okay, cool.
Hand sewn garments. They'll make it right there for you. Then we will visit the Cape Coast.
And y'all know most of these garments we ain't getting from Africa, y'all.
No.
Most of them handmade. I got one in my closet that I only bring out every once in a while for a special occasion, and Frankie gave it to me, and he didn't know what he had, and he gave it to me. I had to give it to me because I knew it was handmade.
Right. The one I have on right now, I'm quite sure.
Yeah, most of the ones we got.
So I do have a plan.
Yeah, you gonna get yours while you're over there. That's right.
Our tour hosts, we've been talking about having some handmade.
Nicole has a question. She wants to advise how to become an agent under you.
Okay, well, Nicole, I'm gonna go over a couple of books real quick.
Yeah. We're gonna get your answer, Nicole.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it right now. The cost is $174. All the training is home based, so all you need is a laptop. You can register yourself by going to my website, InezInternational.traversglobal.com. Inez, and all of this information is on Daoud's.
It's on my page. You can find my page.
So again, I'll say InezInternational.traversglobal.com. And then you click on the feature that says Join Us, and then you can register. My number is 910-233-7959. 910-233-7959, and you can call me anytime, and I can walk you through the process.
That's 233.
910-233-7959. It will take me about. Well, actually, I won't have to talk to you as long as I normally have to talk to you because I'm explaining it now. But it usually takes about 20 to 30
Explain
minutes.
what the guy go through.
Right. On the perks of becoming a licensed agent. Some of the perks of being a licensed agent, you know, I can check into a hotel and ask for the agent's rate, you know.
Okay.
There's over 400 tax breaks for travel agents. So from meals you have on a daily basis, your gas, there's a percentage of your household utilities that can apply towards your taxes. When you travel and stay at a hotel, you know, keep your receipts. So keep your receipts pretty much for everything. But there's over, you know, applying for your passports, everything. There's over 400 ways to apply those features towards tax incentives. And we have a back office. So once you register, there's actually a back office and there's a tax deductor that's a part of your feature. So once you pay your $174, you immediately get your website. You have to think of at least 3 names to call your business. So, you know, if you were to say Daoud Travel or, you know, Daoud Luxury Travel, you know, think of 3 different names.
That's gonna be no cover.
Just in case someone already has a name that you selected.
Yeah,
you know,
they ain't got no covers. NOO covers.
Black Travel or whatever they call your feature. But basically, once another perk is that you have fam trips. Fam is for we call familiarization trips. We call it fam trips, and that's when all of the different resorts, you know, Cancun, the Dominican, you know, Cuba, places in Europe, they want to pitch their site or their resort to you,
I got you.
or their new hotel, you know, whatever experience that they are actually trying to pitch to consumers. They'll invite travel agents over, a lot of times for free or for a very nominal, you know, fee, you know, and you just pay the flight probably to the location, and you spend your weekend there or a week there, and you know, you stay in the finest rooms. Generally give you the best, you know, room because they really want you to pitch their site. So that's another perk. Also, with Traveris, you receive 75% of your commission. So the cruise industry or airline industry is generally like based on 10-20% commission.
Yeah.
You get 75% of that. So if you book a cruise for 10 people and it ends up being $10,000, then normally you're going to get like $1,000 commission.
Okay,
so,
you're gonna get some money back.
Right. So
yeah, I also noticed y'all got some Traveris. I saw the website. Y'all got some teas up there, some coffee up there. You tried the coffee yet?
No, I'm really focused on travel.
Oh, you want to travel?
Yeah, you're not
so
really.
I know they got some other stuff.
They do, but the one thing I like about them is that they don't force their products down your throat.
I got you. Okay. So you can go in that group and focus what you want to focus on.
Yeah. So
cool.
My main focus is travel.
I got
so
you.
That's where
so you all just asking today, Healthy Living Friday. This you keep seeing this yellow stuff.
They do. They have green tea.
Yeah. This is for Healthy Living Friday. I'm on a new thing. This is turmeric. I'm on the turmeric. I'm sorry. The turmeric shake. I went out to Costco the other day, and they had some powder on sale, and I saw it. I was like, I gotta get it because I've been trying to get it for a minute, and I'm making my shakes every day. I'm telling you, it's helping me out a long. Now, let's go back a second. 1898, your family, and you talked about travel,
right?
And trying to get out and being an entrepreneur and Black business in this city. Why is that a focus? What is the give us the history? Why should we be entrepreneurs?
Well, you know, after assessing entrepreneurship and network marketing, I would say the oldest form of network marketing probably was the church. You know what I mean? When you think about the systemic process of the church, it's like the ultimate entrepreneurial network marketing strategy. Because of the history of Wilmington and we feel it today, the effervescence of this city is very comfortable. It's not segregated, but it's very comfortably separated. And
so how do you deal with it? So we still on travel. We're still healthy because it's got to be very stressful to live in the city, knowing your background and your history. How you deal with that, knowing my ancestors own this?
Right. I cried, you know, when I live, we share a lot in common because I lived in Europe and I traveled a lot of places, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, a whole lot of places. And so when I came back home, I really didn't realize the depressed condition that this area was until I returned from living abroad.
Okay.
And as soon as I got off the plane with my children, it just hit me. It was just like I stepped into like a time warp.
So you didn't grow up with this diabolical system here?
I did.
Okay.
I grew up here and then I moved away. I went to college because it's like, the fish that know that it doesn't, a fish that know that it needs to be in water until it's out of the water.
Okay.
And so I didn't realize, because I was in that fishbowl here, so I didn't really realize how suppressed this area was until I actually got
outside. Okay.
And I learned more Black history living in Germany and Europe than I ever did here. In fact, I learned about Jean Canu and a lot about Wilmington from the libraries of Germany. And
that's sad.
Learned about, and a lot of people don't know that when I worked for the government when I was in Europe. So I worked for the Provost Marshal, which is basically military police for those in service.
Right.
So I was the crime statistician. So there was a lot of criminal activities I didn't know that actually happened here until I moved to Germany. A lot of people don't realize that over there, Wilmington was like ranked number 10 for drug trafficking through the Intracoastal Waterway. And so that opened my eyes to that, it's not the person on the corner, it's those that are on the different islands and who have access to money and boats and planes and things to bring the drugs here. And then they disseminate it. I did an interview with a police officer once, and he said that in this area we have controlled crime areas. And I was like, well, explain to me what that means. And he says, well, there's certain areas that we allow certain amounts of crime to take place because it keeps us free from having to figure out where it is. So we allow certain activities to happen. And then when we need to make a drug bust, we just go to send, take people in, and the public will be appeased and hey, they're doing a job. He said, but really we're just creating a job vacancy because the next person's gonna step in. And then we want to make another raid, we just pick some people up. So he said, but it prevents us from having to go out to Pine Valley and other areas because if we bust it up here, then they're gonna filter out other places, and so we just try to keep it
in control.
Yeah, so he's called it, and that was in the 90s.
Yeah, and we still in 2018 dealing with the same thing in this city. Yeah, I wonder how. Off the time I went, I was like, sister, she had family here that went through this, and this 1898.
But I cried about it. Like I said, I cried really hard once I actually came back home and started my research again on 1898. Like I said earlier, my great-great-grandfather was on the Colored Citizens Committee. They were that collective group of Black males who were business owners in the community that people would come to for advice and from they would make strategic decisions within the city. And he was also his son was what they call a drayman, pretty much like modern day U-Haul. He would transport people's furniture via wagon. And of course my great grandfather was a wood and coal dealer. So it just made me angry because all of those white families who had those same businesses, who were draymen, who were wood and coal dealers eventually transitioned into oil. And many like Springer Oil and many of those families that are probably still around today.
So when you say transition to oil,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about Black families that were moved out of that industry.
Right.
Could have transferred in
to
oil.
And into,
Because I don't think people understand. When we start talking about 1898, that what Wilmington was the Mecca of North Carolina. And if those businesses had been able to flourish to today, where we could be North Carolina, internationally, etc.
Right, because the bank itself was bonded for over $1 million. Well,
wow.
It was actually $900,000, so basically $1 million. So when you think about the interest rate and what that would have amounted to today, my family name would have probably been up there with like the Rockefellers or who, if they were allowed to continue that. If my family could have had that banking legacy today, like
All the way
other
down.
families,
Yeah.
right? And he diversified his income because he was on the bank. He had his wood and coal dealership. His son had his Draymond thing going on. So a lot of those legacies were robbed of our family. And even though that DNA is still present, the suppression of success is still there.
Yeah.
I call it, we have taken the city again, because you look at the city.
Explain that.
Because the book We Have Taken the City was focused on 1898, but I say they should do a book, We Have Taken the City again, because you look at the areas that were basically comprised of Black people and how it has all pretty much evaporated. They destroyed the whole Black family structure that was Gervais. They went in and took all the Black families out of Nesbitt Court and out of Taylor Homes, and they displaced all these major Black voting blocks, which was actually the key for removing them, because Gervais was a huge Black voting block. Taylor Homes, Nesbitt Court, and Hillcrest is probably going to be next on the radar, but they have strategically removed a lot of Black families and displaced them, and nobody asked where those families were disseminated to.
They just go in and close it down, and they said what they call it. They move you out, and then they said we're gonna move you back in, but they only move so many back in. Then they make it beautified, and you think, well, what happened to all the families that were here before?
Right.
They never tell you what happened to them.
And you diminish the voting power because those are really strong. Voting precincts in those specific areas.
And so when we talk about that 1898 history, it frustrates me that I learned about 1898 before I came here. Mm-hmm. And when I came here, it was shush shush. What am I talking about?
Well, I learned about it actually. I had graduated from undergrad school, and I wandered into the local museum. And at that time, they had a Black curator, Beverly Smalls.
Okay.
And she was aware of who I was. I didn't know who she was, but she knew my family, and she knew my name and everything. When somebody call your name, you be like, oh, what's your name?
Right.
So she said, well, let me show you something, and so she had an exhibit. I want to say it was on 1898, and it showed, and she actually had a list of single heads of households. And it was from the Campbell side of my family. And so she basically was saying that the Campbells had a lot of property. And she said, I don't want you to focus. She said it wasn't really uncommon for some very well-to-do families to own slaves. And she said there were actually a few Black families throughout the South that actually would purchase slaves so that eventually they could free them. You know what I mean? They would have that power to do that. So she said, I don't want you to focus on the Campbell side actually having the capability to do that. She said, I want you to figure out what happened to their property. She said, because something happened to the Campbell.
So when it went down, what happened with your grandfather? Was he one of the ones that moved out, or?
Now my great grandfather, his last name was Quick.
Okay.
Ison Quick. And he actually walked here from the Bennettsville area. They said there were so many Quicks in the area, they called it Quicksville or Quickstown. So he ended up walking from like the Anson County area, I believe, up to Wilmington. He had 9 kids. And so you have to realize that in any type of chaos, how can you escape a city, under that condition with 9 children?
Right.
And so his son, Ison Quick, it didn't say he was a junior, but they were named, they had the same name. So I don't know if they did juniors or whatever, but both of their names was Ison Quick, the one that had the Draymond business. He had to actually flee the city. And when you think about it, he was in his 20s. So I'm quite sure, he was like most, Black 20-year-olds with a business. He was very confident. They said the Black males and females did a lot of interracial marrying at that time because that was during a period of the fusion period.
Right.
And So that's when, black males could vote. There were actual marriages in between that fusion period of Reconstruction prior to Jim Crow that people don't talk about. I know they talk about the Lovings and how they were the first to start, the interracial legitimizing, I guess, interracial marriages. But that before Jim Crow, there were legitimate marriages between blacks and whites, and so he had to flee. His son had to flee, and he never saw his son again. They call it jump the tracks. He had to jump the tracks, which meant he had to jump on a train. So he jumped on a train from Wilmington to Fayetteville, got to Fayetteville, and then somehow ended up in New York. So I don't know if he ever saw his father again, and if he did, it probably was undercover at night, But as far as my mom, who's 90 years old, she told me a lot before she. Right now, unfortunately, she has Alzheimer's, but she shared a lot of family history before getting into that condition. And she shared with me that he came home for his baby sister's funeral. And when he came home, he was about 90 years old. I think he came like in 1964, 65. He actually came to Wilmington. So I saw him, because I was born at that time. And it was just bizarre once I realized that I actually had been in the presence of Ison. And, but I was just too little to know. But my mom said that they actually had to kidnap him to bring him to his own sister's funeral because of the trauma from 1898. He never wanted to come to Wilmington. And they basically lied and told him that they were taking him to the dry cleaners in New York and just kept coming, just kept driving, south. And when he realized where he was coming, they said that he was like shaking the whole time. He went to the funeral and they left and he never came back again. So,
we still don't have to live in Friday, y'all. 910-765-0097. You talked about trauma and you talked about your mom. That touched home to me because my mom also has Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's. So that touched home because a lot of times, back in the day, we used to call it just losing your mind. We didn't know what Alzheimer's was. I remember I had a grandmother, my grandmother's sister. She and now we know it was Alzheimer's, but back then we knew it was just she lost her mind. Back in the day. But now we have a category they call it. And so many times in the black community, we don't understand how prevalent Alzheimer's is in the black community. And a lot of times from trauma, stress and trauma and these varied things that we had. I know my mom's was more like, as I go through what caused my mom to all these buried secrets, all these buried treasures that they got to hold that.
Right.
You got to hold that history.
My family would never talk about it.
Exactly. You got to. They had that's bottled up.
Right.
Years and generation is just bottled up suppressive anger.
Right.
You got to.
Right. I would really cry tears of like fire.
Right.
When I back in the day when I first started out, people would start talking to me about 1898 and I would just be so full with emotion, but it was more or less angry tears than anything, because I really understood. And with my mom, no one in our family had ever experienced Alzheimer's, and they would live really long, private lives. And so sometimes I'm thinking now with this water situation, if they have tied in the effects from the toxins in the water to an increase in Alzheimer's in this area, because that really wasn't a thing in.
We did not,
they need to add that to the list.
We need to add it to the study list of the Gen X.
Thank you.
We need to find out what Gen X is connected to the Alzheimer's.
The chemical deposits.
That's going in because it's stuff that's popping up in. I talk all the time on sarcoidosis. I have sarcoidosis. This is a big sarcoid. This is a big sarcoid. My brother came. Me and my brother both have sarcoid. And when I got to the hospital, my brother said, "Y'all got a whole pulmonary floor at the hospital at New Hampshire. There's a whole floor just for pulmonary." He's like, "We don't have that." Well, he's in Virginia, but Virginia, most port cities are big on sarcoid, and it's big in the African American community. We still haven't. We've been researching, trying to figure out what ties is it to the African American community. What I have tied in so far is that longshoremen's families have it.
Wow.
And my father was a longshoreman, so it's come from the port. We've tied the port work work on the port to high
Now,
residents.
so we could be on something
Yeah,
with the toxins.
with the water, with the
Yeah,
toxins with the water. So
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
we've been researching that for
Yeah,
years. You
because
got
we were thrown for a loop. It just totally caught us by surprise when my mom, started slipping with dementia, and
Michael Carway. You know Carway. Carway is that's my brother. How you doing, Mike? Today, Mike asked, did she say her people were from Bops?
Bishopville. No, Bennettsville.
Bennettsville.
Like the Bennettsville area.
Oh, he about to be a relative. He about to tie in. Hey, you ain't getting none of this.
Hey, but South Carolina, as far as the Campbells go, we're pretty much connected. The Charleston area.
I got you.
Quicks in the Bennettsville.
I love my Facebook supporters on Facebook. They always and Michelle, Nicole said you're amazing guest. Thanks for having it. We always try to bring you. We always try to bring. See, it's travel. We're talking about travel.
We're trying to really get a lot in this out because we can talk about a whole.
We can go all day long.
Diode and I used to work in the mental health profession.
Did you take me there?
They had us trying to get hours like mental health crack.
Did you take me there?
32 hours.
Do you remember when you had to get 32 hours a week?
It was like crack. I gotta get the hours.
Y'all don't understand it. When I talk about the mental health system and how y'all had the mental health system is towed down, it was a railroad. North Carolina, we was making a killing.
Big scam. All they saw
was hours.
Dollars.
You
walk in the office and it was a dollar sign.
They used to come in mental health and you get 40 hours a week for a person called community support services.
And they would want you to have like 30 people.
Because you was billing for 30, and the rate that time was $35 an hour.
They were making.
So if I'm paying somebody $12 an hour to go get $32 an hour, and I'm getting $40 a week, it's bad. You come in with them notes. You come in with them notes out there. Gosh. But they wasn't trying to say, they wasn't trying to keep people mentally healthy. They were just trying to make money. And what we have now is the default system in North Carolina. And now we have no mental health.
Right.
Our mental health system
and it's equally bad when it comes to school. As a in the school system, as a school psychologist, we have to have a holistic approach. Because we're dealing with psychometrics.
Give me that. Give me what's your take on that in the school system? What because you've been in school, you studied their formula. What's your formula? What's needed? What do we need to start at when we talk about mental health? Because I see that as a lot of these. When I talked about the murders earlier, I saw mental health that wasn't addressed.
Right.
A lot of these children have they have post-traumatic stress disorder that's not addressed.
Well, there's a lot of variables because it's just like every child learns differently. Some are kinesthetic and they have to touch things. Some are visual. They have to see it. Some are auditory. They can hear it. And so you can't really put every child in one lump sum way of learning. And even though most teachers know that children learn differently, that all goes out the window sometimes in the classroom. If you don't do it the way they, surmise for you to do it, it's a problem. But as far as mental health goes, every school has a school psychologist. But you can ask many of the teachers. You can even ask people in the front desk, at the front office. A lot of times you ask for the school psychologist, and they'll send you to the social worker. They'll send you to the counselor. They'll send you to the on-site clinical psychologist. They don't even know who a school psychologist is. Yeah. But every school
has one on site.
And our job is to specifically advocate for the students, for them to have the best learning process.
Right.
The whole outcome is to create a learned student. That's the ultimate process in education. And so school psychologists, we advocate for, your student. We basically, unfortunately, historically, school psychologists were seen as what they call gatekeepers. We would give children psychometric assessments, and it would determine if they were eligible for special education services. But now the realm of school psychology is so broad. We do a lot of crisis intervention. It pained me when they were talking about, when they had the situation with the school with the 19 students that were killed in Florida.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everybody's like panicking, not knowing what to do. But they have the ultimate crisis intervention person in the school, which is the school psychologist, who's trained to give, pre and post recovery crisis. We know what to do.
Right.
We can actually give. I actually am certified, NASP certified, which is the National Association of School Psychologists. I have a certification in crisis intervention and post recovery, which is, we strategize on how to make your facility safe, in case there's ever an intrusion. North Carolina actually, the model for North Carolina was actually used for my training. North Carolina has a great crisis intervention strategy, and I believe every school in North Carolina actually executes that plan. But they don't use the school psychologists enough. So it's like they're focused solely on us testing students, but not doing the intervention and the consultation mechanisms that we can also provide in the school.
It's funny you mentioned Florida. When I first saw the case in Florida, the first thing that came to my mind was I saw the Florida case of the young man, and I knew he had mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I saw that he was kicked out of school,
Right.
I said, where was the follow-up?
Right.
Who made sure he got his medication? Because once he's in school, he's going to the office every morning getting his medication.
Right.
Now he's home.
Mm-hmm.
He's dealing with mom, who probably don't know anything about the system.
Right.
She's sitting there with this kid that she's used to put on the system all day, all for the last 20 or 15, 10 years. She's been on the system. He gets his medication when he gets to school home. He's straight. He gets home, she don't know. So the first thing I saw was a kid that wasn't getting medically fed or medically treated, or his treatment was bizarre, because once he's kicked out of the school psychologists don't have to follow up. The school does not follow up. And I said, wow, we got to close that gap some kind of way, because I know a whole lot of children out here now that's on our streets in Wilmington that are not getting service.
Well, and also, we need to really monitor how the school system utilizes their government funding, because what people don't realize is that for every child of success that's actually listed as an exceptional student, they probably get about close to $5,000 per child. And so who monitors? So school psychologists really panic 2 times a year, and it's called a head count. They try to get those. It's almost like
I know.
Head count. Like how many kids you want to make sure that they've all been tested, so you can get that check from the federal government, and then in the spring there's a check from the state. And so they have these head counts at the end of the year. Near the end of the year, before sometime in December, and then they'll do another one like in the spring, because they want that check, or both of those checks. And and the thing is, if you're getting $5,000 per child, and you have some principals who are saying, I actually was at a school once, and the principal said, we need to get our numbers up, and especially, I was like, what the HE? But I'm a practicum student, at the time, and then eventually I did my internship.
You're going to increase your numbers. You're going to test him. He looked like he needed to be there.
You got to test him. You know what I mean? We need to get some. But anyway, once they get that funding, if they're saying that each child is getting about $4,800 per child for because they need special services, and then you get that check from the federal government, how is it disseminated?
Right.
And why are these schools struggling? So is the money actually going towards the special services, or is it being funneled into different pots of money? So that's
it's After Living Friday, y'all. 767-650-0097. This is your host, No Covers, coming to you out of
Glenn
Wilson.
Wilson.
Glenn said,
I'm
tell.
not calling you.
Dad said she ain't calling you, Glenn, so you can cancel that. It ain't happening. She said, when you get on the phone with Glenn, it's gonna be like an hour and a half.
No, Glenn, I gotta look at Glenn.
Because
he's one of the ones you got to get in the ring.
No, because on the phone, I already know on the phone it's hour and a half. I got a block. So can I call Glenn today? No, I can't call them. I'm calling them. I got an hour and a half. It's gonna be an hour and a half conversation we gonna have.
Yeah, people don't know. I actually was one of the first. I was the first female coach over at for Sheridan Morgan. I was an assistant coach for Olympic amateur.
Oh, I know
Just
that.
amateur boxing, Olympic style boxing.
Okay. Yeah, my son's a
I
boxer.
used to
Yeah.
back in the day. I used to train a lot of the young boxers we had back in the day. I trained a lot.
It's sad that we lost that program.
It really is.
Because my two sons right now. I have one that's that survived, got a social degree, back home now.
I remember your son.
Both of them.
I coached your son.
The She finna kill. They survived based off that program. They would have been. They lived in the hood, but every day after school, they went to that program, and they were very good. They survived the streets based on boxing. Because I took them out of other sports, and I said individual, but they teamed each other, and the other one kills them.
Well, boxing is like, it's one of those positive aggressions.
Yes.
Because you can get out your anger
all day.
I used to try to get schools to put a punching bag in the gym and let kids just like have it out, and then but rarely, if ever, they want to do that. Because kids need to have an outlet. And sometimes just punching a bag, rather than punching a student or cussing out a teacher, that would have been the better choice.
So we got about 3 minutes. Give it the trip dates again. Where can they find you if you want to go? And look here, y'all.
Join me on
If you've
Facebook.
never been to Africa, go.
I have a lot of cruises coming up. To Haiti. We have a girls trip to Cuba in September. So look on my Facebook page.
Why is the girls trip to Cuba?
Well, that was just one of the, because Girls Trip, the movie, it was kind of like,
Cuba got that. Cuba got them doctors for free over there.
Right. I have a guys getaway.
Okay. I'm like,
so these just little thematic things we're throwing out, but anybody can put the trip together.
Okay, cool.
But look on Facebook, InezInternational.lv. You'll see a lot of travel updates, different cruises, different price points for tickets for the upcoming Carolina Panthers season with Dallas Cowboys, Saints. I have all of that information on there. Also, my contact information again is 910-233-7959, or you can visit me at InezInternational@gmail.com. Ask any questions, InezInternational@gmail.com, or you can visit the website, InezInternational.traversglobal.com. Also, if you would like to purchase your clothing for your travel, go to sundracityboutique.com and get your travel wear.
That's right.
My famous $10 sundress.
There you go. And she was out here this weekend at the Afro Latino Festival, and I had mine on, and I took it down to the reggae spot with Kim on Sunday night. I was looking good in the two there, y'all.
That green,
I was looking good in that green. I love that.
Thank you for having me on your show.
All day. I'm glad to have you. No Covers. This is No Covers Live, coming to you out of Port City, Wilmington, North Carolina. Y'all have a good weekend, and families of the victim and family of the young men. My prayers go out to all the families, because we're dealing with young men, 19, 18, 15, that got caught up in this mess. And we're trying to put an end to it, y'all. But my prayers go to those families. I know you're hurting. I know you're in pain. We're going to figure this thing out. Don't give up hope yet. And I'll make sure they get my number. They can call me, touch base with me, and I'm going to see what I can do to help all the families involved. Peace and blessings. It's No Covers. Peace. We'll see you all back on Monday at 12:30 for our Monday show. Mondays we talk about Black History. Wednesday we talk about money. Friday we talk about health and living. Peace and blessings.
Peace. Thanks, so that was fun.
Yeah, I got you on here.
We talk about some everything.
Oh, that's why I knew it was gonna happen. I said.